All right, boys, let's go ahead and let's talk Wonder Man. All right, I think we should start out with the trailer. Let's watch the trailer real quick. So I remember seeing these trailers actually and being super confused because obviously Wonder Man is a superhero, a legitimate superhero in the Marvel universe. But in this iteration, Wonder Man is a fake superhero from a movie in this MCU. So I was like, what the fuck are we doing, man? Like, what's going on? I was thinking, like, is Wonder Man even gonna be a superhero in this, franchise, in this universe? Is he even gonna have powers, or is he strictly a TV, like a movie guy? And maybe he'll get powers later on. Like, I don't know. I didn't know what to think when I saw these trailers initially. Or at least I think this one initially, because I don't think it shows his powers or even a glimpse of his powers. So I'm like, bro, what the fuck kind of superhero show is this? Anyways, let's go ahead and check it out.
The entertainment world is stunned today when internationally celebrated and reclusive filmmaker Von Kovac sprung out of retirement to sign on for a remake of Wonder Man. Mr. Von Kovac, could you tell us more?
Everyone is tired of superheroes. There is an opportunity to reimagine a whole genre of storytelling.
Have you thought about casting?
So, what's this big audition you were talking about?
It's a huge opportunity. I'm auditioning for Wonder Man.
Did you hear about Wonder Man? I need to be in this movie.
Sorry, you crazy.
I was born to play this character.
Oh, you serious? Boo, they are already talking to Leo.
You just gotta go out there and crush it.
What's wrong?
I'm trying to come up with a backstory for the character.
Well, trust the words. Just show up and say them.
No, that's not my process.
Well, the process can go blow a spider.
Guy's killing it in there, bro.
Where have I seen him before?
Pretty sure he used to be a terrorist.
Next! You can slate whenever you're ready.
Simon Williams, reading for Wonder Man.
Listen to me, Simon. The callback is happening now. Just be normal.
Normal man. The breakdown is go method.
Come in. Mr. Kovac will meet you in the living room.
So you all here to meet Von Kovac?
Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. I want to explore the place between fiction and non-fiction.
That's tight.
We are going to make the last movie on Earth. No
blazing.
one will have the balls to make another. And action!
Any news from Von Kovac?
There is news you'll be the first to know.
Unless you call me again, in which case I will never tell you.
Okay. So yeah, this was the trailer where I was like, what in the fuck is this? Like, I had to double check, is this Marvel? Okay, it's Marvel. Then I had to go look up Wonder Man. I'm like, is he actually a superhero, or am I missing something? And obviously you can come to the search and these were the pictures that were coming up when I was looking, because the show hadn't come out yet. But you see these and you're like, okay, yeah. You look at the Wonder Man Wikipedia, you look at the list of his powers. Let's go through the list of his powers real quick, guys. Let's go through the list of his abilities. Superhuman strength, speed, agility, stamina, and reflexes. Ionic energy, physiology. Enhanced vision and hearing, electromagnetic manipulation, ionic energy manipulation, energy enhanced strike, virtual invulnerability, self-sustenance. Bro, does that mean he doesn't have to eat or drink or anything? Power recycling, size alteration. Can he get bigger like Ant-Man and shit? Healing factor, shape-shifting, teleportation, immortality, and flight. damn, this dude is like crazy OP. Whew. Jeez. So yeah, I'm looking at this trailer. I'm like, what is going on? But yeah. So let's check out the second trailer. The second official trailer.
You got this, man.
I believe this is the trailer where I'm like, okay, because I'm pretty sure they showed a little glimpse of his powers. I'm like, okay, so he does have powers, and they're doing something. They're just doing something a little different with the character of Wonder Man. So
You just gotta go
I was
out
a
there
little
and crush
intrigued.
it.
Not super intrigued.
Where have I seen him before? Pretty sure he used to be a terrorist.
This is intense.
Let's not give him any strange energy to pick up on. We both have a lot riding on this, Simon.
Why would you say that?
Come in. Mr. Kovac will meet you in the living room.
Amazing.
A superhero remake. Not exactly what we'd expect from an Oscar-winning director.
This is the role. It's everything. If I get this close and I miss,
There's the little glimpse.
I'm gonna need you to sign this.
Both the eyes in the beginning.
yeah. I need to be in this movie. Zah! I was born to play this character.
Another little glimpse. Well, this is
Some of
more than a
everything
little
you've
glimpse.
experienced. The joy, sadness, loss, heartbreak.
That's a big glimpse.
The Department of Damage Control considers Simon Williams an extraordinary threat.
What?
Are you gonna use super speed or what?
I'm gonna use my car, Trevor.
Does that mean you do or do not have super speed?
Let's go!
Okay, so yeah, after that trailer, I was like, okay, so he does have powers, and I was like a little intrigued, like a little bit, like not much, because I was still like, what the fuck is going on with this? But let's talk about how we feel about the show now that it is released, now that it is out. Personally, my overall thoughts were that it was really, really good. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I don't think I'm alone in saying that. I'm pretty sure that's like the consensus out there. That is a good show. Obviously, hold on. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, I was a little skeptical with it initially, being that it was a superhero show, and looking at all the trailers of a superhero show with little to no action in the trailers, and from what we were being told about the show, it was pretty much confirmed before the show even came out that there was going to be very little action in this show. So yeah, I was pretty skeptical about that, but I actually feel like it ended up benefiting a lot more than it didn't from the lack of action, because I think it allowed the characters to, really connect with the character of Simon Williams, and I think the little glimpses that the show gives us of his powers were pretty satisfying, honestly. Particularly in the alleyway fight. Yeah, particularly in the alley fight scene. and when Trevor is broken out of prison by Simon, when they fly out of the prison. Those two scenes alone were like, that was enough for me. It was enough. It satisfied me, filled my belly, and yeah, I mean, it was surprisingly satisfying, and it left me very excited, a little bit anxious even, to see more of not Simon anymore. We've got enough of Simon for now, but I want to see more of Wonder Man. Because even though we only got little glimpses of his powers, you can tell that this dude is OP, even without reading the entire Wikipedia list of abilities that we did. Just watching the show, seeing the little glimpses, seeing, when he broke the table, when practically whenever he was starting to lose control, you could see the effects of like the molecules and of the material and everything around him. Like things would start to wave. Like there was the scene when Trevor told him that he was a spy and that he's been spying on him for a really long time, and then he walked into the alley or into like some sort of building somewhere, but as he was walking, he walked past some trash cans. His powers were starting to manifest, and you could see the lids of the trash can go like, they started to do this little wave, as if he was like interfering with the molecules, or he was affecting the environment at a molecular level. That's what it seemed like. So yeah, dude seems pretty OP, and I want to see more, baby. I want to see more of that. Overall rating, you guys leave your ratings in the comments out of 10. Let me know what you think. I give it a smooth 7.8, 7.9. Give it a smooth 7.9. Smooth, which is, 7.9 is pretty good. Some of the highs include obviously the character development and the character focus. The character emphasis, whatever you want to call it, the focus that they put on the characters. Aside from the super powered element of Simon and of these characters, Simon, him choosing to hide his powers from the public and even people super close to him, like his family at one point when he was really young, his family, his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, obviously, and everyone else in his life. It's a super compelling element of the story, considering that considering the ban on superpowered individuals in Hollywood, and considering the destructive nature of his powers. I think him having to keep that part of him hidden away from everyone was super compelling. Another element that I really liked about the character of Simon was the fact that he wasn't able to display such a huge aspect of himself, being his superpowers. He wasn't able to express that, and obviously that contributed to his loneliness, as his mom described it, and as you could clearly tell throughout the show, he's pretty lonely. He doesn't really connect with anybody other than the ex that he had that broke up with him in episode 1, and then told him later on that she never really even felt like she knew him or was connected with him because he never told her his big secret. So he never really truly connected with anybody. He has never really truly connected with anybody, at least ever since his powers manifested, other than his dad maybe, which I don't know if his dad was alive when his powers manifested. But yeah, so I thought that was a super super compelling scene and aspect of the story of the character as well. The performances in the show were really solid. Yahya Abdul Mateen or whatever this guy's name is, I think that's his name. Solid, really good, man. I never. Oh, actually, it's a lie. I saw him in what's the Aquaman, as a Black Manta, but he was pretty forgettable in that, and I don't think I remember seeing him in anything else. I probably did, I just don't remember. But yeah, I mean, he was really good. He was really good. Scenes a few scenes that I particularly enjoyed was the one where he went to go meet his ex to see if she had exposed him and his superpowers to that critic lady. When she outright told him that she didn't tell her his secret, you could kind of sense that he knew that she knew about his powers, and that you could really see the relief, for one, that he displayed, that Yahya displayed in Wonder Man, in Simon. And then when his girlfriend told him that she knew, and when you see him realize that she knew this whole time, and she never said anything out of respect for him, and she said it was never her place. But the way you could, I mean, it's really hard for me to describe, because it was a really human moment. But his face said during that scene, because he didn't say too many words during that dialogue, or it was more of a monologue when his girlfriend was going off on him, not like yelling or anything, but telling him, like, yeah, I knew, I don't know why you didn't tell me, but blah blah blah, it's not my place to ask or whatever. When she was confronting him about that, his face was saying, damn, like, I really don't trust anybody. Like, he was like, damn, like, I really don't trust these people. And I think he was realizing in that moment that he was wrong for that. He was wrong not to trust all these people, to share that aspect of him with his girlfriend, in particular in this specific situation. He was realizing that he was wrong not to share that aspect of him, because it never allowed them to connect, to truly connect. I think he was realizing that she was always feeling, she probably felt really left out, and not trusted, because she knew about this secret, and she knew that Simon didn't want to tell her. And yeah, so his face in that scene, the facial expressions, they were great, really good. And then another scene that I really enjoyed of his was when he was talking to the critic lady, and he was worried about what his brother was going to say to her, because his brother spent his almost whole life, bashing him in his dreams and belittling him, looking down on him, and not believing in him. So Simon was really nervous, and I was, pretty anxious about what his brother was going to say. And when he hears that his brother said nothing but good things, said that he's super proud of him, that no one believed in him, I mean, And Trevor was really good in that scene too, even though he didn't do anything. Whoever plays Trevor, I'm sorry, whoever plays Trevor was really good too. The way he just kind of smiled and did like this. It was good, man. And little things like that really they really make a difference. But yeah, Simon's, you could really feel his sense of relief, his sense of maybe even a little bit of pride. He's happy that his brother recognizes him and his work. Yeah, so those performances were really good. Trevor, the actor who played Trevor, was really good. I mean, those were like the two main guys. Obviously, Von Kovac, actor, that guy from Superman, he's pretty funny. But the two main guys, the two main characters, the two people who were supposed to steal the show, stole the show for sure. But another high I had was that it was just an OG. Like it had that OG MCU project feel. Like I felt I enjoyed my time watching this show, which I can't say about way too many post-Endgame MCU projects. Can't say that. Can't say I enjoyed my time in theaters or on the couch watching those movies. But I can say that I had a good time watching this show, even with the lack of action. So I think that's pretty impressive. Some lows. Obviously, the lack of action in this show. Being a superhero show, I get it, and I know I just ranted for like 30 minutes talking about how good this show is, even without the action. It's a superhero show, and superhero projects, shows, movies, comics, games, books, they have action, a lot of action. So that was a little disappointing, but like I said, the little glimpses of his powers that we got did satisfy me. A little more wouldn't hurt, though. A little more wouldn't hurt, especially in the alley scene, because you didn't really see his powers in full effect. You saw probably a little bit of his super strength during the alley scene, but not much else. I don't think there was anything else. So yeah, lack of action. The superhero project is a little disappointing. Supporting characters felt a little underdeveloped, particularly his brother, and Simon's brother. I would have liked to see one, for him to evolve. I would have liked to see for him to evolve. I would have liked to see him evolve from despising Simon and belittling his career and who he is, and the fact that he has to provide for his little brother. I'm sure he hated that. I wanted to see that evolution from that brother to the brother that is like super proud and happy at the end of the movie, or at the end of the show. And then because there was obviously the critic said what she said, but I think a little moment between Simon and his brother, maybe right after his brother talked to the critic, or probably not before, I think right after. Like if the critic was walking out the room or something, and his brother was in there, and he ran in the room, and they talked, and he was like, "What did you say to her?" And he was like, "Man, I said that you're great. I said I love you. I said that I'm super proud of you." All that blah, blah, blah bullshit. I think that would have been nice. I think that would have been good. I think that would have been a positive addition. And guys, I don't know if you see it, but you know, like, oh wait, oh shit, it's the wrong shit. I thought it said, trust me, I'm a psychologist. Never mind. Anyways, yeah, I think I would have liked to see that. I think it would have been a positive addition to the show. And yeah, because I think it would have been a positive addition to the show. Because I don't see, it would have been good. I also don't see how his brother could end up becoming Grim Reaper, like in the comics, and maybe they're not planning on going that route. Maybe Grim Reaper is gonna end up being Trevor or something like that. But yeah, I mean, we didn't get much of the supporting characters. I'd like to hear a little bit more of his ex's side and her experience being with Simon. And obviously we didn't get much of his family. I thought his dad was, or should have been, dived into a little bit more of that character, especially considering how impactful his dad was in his life. But we didn't get that, so. And then personally, I would have liked longer episodes. And I really didn't like the inconsistency in the time, because there was like some that were, most of them were like 30, 35 minutes. And then there was like that one episode where we get the action in the alley, and that one's like 15 minutes. I mean, on the, it'll tell you 25 minutes, but take out all those fucking credits, those like 3 minutes worth of credits in the beginning, the introduction in the end, I mean the credits in the end, the introduction in the beginning, you're left with like 15, 20 minutes of a show. So I would have appreciated a little more longer episodes. But yeah, overall it was good. 7.9 is what I gave it, I'm pretty sure. So now we gotta talk about some theories. Right? Because I'm pretty sure the entirety of the internet has the exact same theory at this point. But all indicators say that Simon is a mutant. Yeah, this show heavily implies that Simon is a mutant. Let's talk about the DODC involvement, Department of Damage Control. We saw in the trailer, the second trailer, I'm pretty sure it was the second trailer, that the DODC, Agent Cleary from the DODC, considers Simon Williams and I quote, an extraordinary threat. Right? And obviously they keep tabs on him for the entirety of the show. And I think this is especially weird because the DODC, as we know them, as we've seen them in the MCU, they've never kept tabs like this on any superhero before, other than Spider-Man a little bit in No Way Home because of the whole Mysterio bullshit, and then Miss Marvel, who has been officially confirmed to be a mutant in the MCU, the first mutant, well, the first confirmed mutant, I think. So I'm pretty sure that came out before Wakanda Forever and before Namor was confirmed a mutant. But yeah, so the DODC has never kept tabs on superheroes like this before. And if they aren't keeping tabs on people like Bruce Banner, the Hulk, or Bob, the Sentry, if they're not keeping tabs on people like that, especially Bob, there wasn't a single DODC truck in the Thunderbolts movie that I remember. I didn't see a single DODC van. And, I mean, he literally turned into a man with the power of 1 billion burning suns or whatever, and then he turned into the void and sent, like, the entirety of New York into a shadow. And the DODC is just like, you know, we'll take care of him later. Yeah. Let's look at this guy. Let's keep an eye on this guy right here. Simon Williams, the black one. You guys ever seen that Miles meme? Look. Oh. This one's funny too, but look.
All stations, drop what you're doing and stop Spider-Man.
Miles, the black.
So what the fuck's up with that, man? Like, they just letting Sentry roam free, chill in the Thunderbolts Tower, while this guy is being harassed for trying to get an acting gig. A little suspicious, if you ask me. They said, fuck Sentry, let's go after Simon, the black one. The black one. Yeah. So, that's a little weird. Why are they so interested in Simon? They got the Void. Go take care of the Void. And then come after Simon. This guy doesn't even want his powers to manifest. He just wants to act. That's all he wants to do, is act. I mean, you talk about extraordinary threats. That's Bob. That's Bob right there. Who else we got as an extraordinary threat on Earth in the MCU right now? I mean, Doctor Strange. I don't even know where he's at right now. After his last movie, he just disappeared into the dark dimension, I think, or whatever. But if he's on Earth, go get him. He's using magic, tearing apart the fabrics of reality. Fucking, why did you never try to go get fucking Scarlet Witch? You never thought about that? Never thought about getting Scarlet Witch? Fucking Scarlet Witch. Vision. You ever thinking about getting Vision? Get the fuck out of here. Even though Vision's cool. Yeah, I know. Simon Wonder Man's probably way more powerful than all of those people other than Scarlet Witch, the Void, or Sentry. Or maybe he's not. I don't even fucking know. But, I mean, they're all basically on the same power level. They're all like S-tier power level. Like, they will all fuck us all up whenever they want. And they, DODC decided to pick them all out. Yeah, you move out the way, Void. Now, fuck you, Scarlet Witch. Fuck you. We're both white. The black one. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that's what it is. Why do they have such a special interest in Simon? I think he's a mutant. I think they have been keeping tabs on him for a very long time, ever since his powers, maybe ever since his powers manifested in the first place. Maybe they've been keeping an eye on him ever since then. And they've been peeping little things he's doing, like when he blows up his apartment, or he's fucking blows up an entire building, or whatever. They're peeping all that stuff, and they're like, okay. Fuck, I don't know what they're like. But, yeah, I think that's suspicious. It's a little sus. If you ask me. Another element of this show that kind of ties into the themes of mutants is the Hollywood ban on superpowered individuals. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be like the first stepping stone to full-on mutant discrimination and segregation, you know. Yeah, so like when you consider that the ban was placed after the Costco cloak doorman incident, where, you know, that, I forgot his name, but that guy, the fat guy, tried to dive into doorman's door and it kind of seemed like he went in the door and then out his mouth, because doorman started threw up water. What if, or whatever that was, what if he threw up him? You ever think of that? Anyways, yeah, it seems like ever since that incident happened, or, you know, at least maybe like right after that incident happened, that incident seemed to have a pretty impactful effect on the public, and on media, society, everything. It was crazy. It was probably crazy. And the public must have had some sort of uprising, maybe some protests, so that they could regulate the use of powers and of superpowered individuals in Hollywood. So if we extrapolate that concept of discrimination towards superpowered individuals in Hollywood, to how the MCU might address similar themes with mutants in the future, you can start to connect to those dots a little bit and see how there could be a little connection right there. My fucking Costco version of cloak, man. The most damning piece of evidence that I, and that I'm sure the rest of the world has come to realize or notice by now, is that we never even got an origin story for Simon's powers. All we know is that there was some sort of fire, and that he survived that fire when he probably shouldn't have survived. And you know, being that Wonder Man definitely isn't the most popular character in mainstream media, and I don't even think we've had an iteration of Wonder Man, at least in live action, before. You'd think we'd get some sort of origin story, because no one fucking knows the guy. But, you know, I mean, like, he's not like Spidey or Superman, where literally everyone on the planet knows how they got their powers, where Superman comes from. We don't need an origin story for those guys. We don't know this fucking guy. Like, we don't know this person. How the fuck are we supposed to know where he gets his powers from? We don't. We don't know. So, how does that make him a mutant, you may ask? Well, considering that the fire incident and the fact that although he has his moments of deregulation, Simon is really good at controlling his powers that seem to be super overwhelming and difficult to control and regulate. He seems to do a really good job at that, even though, like I said, he has his moments. That implies that Simon has had his powers for a really, really long time. Like, fire incident happened when he was a kid. He must have had his powers since he was a kid. since before Spider-Man got his powers, since before Peter as a freshman in college, or a freshman in high school, or freshman and sophomore in high school, got his powers. He must have been even younger, like middle school, maybe even elementary school. And in the scene of young Simon sitting on the doctor's chair and they're checking him out after the fire, he looks to be like in middle school. So he's had his powers for a really, really long time. And yeah, so you'd have to assume that, one, they either manifested or activated during the fire, or which would mean that he had a gene that was dormant, a mutant gene that was dormant, that was activated during the fire, which would make him a mutant because his powers were innate, or he was born with his powers, which would make him a mutant because his powers are innate. So he's likely a mutant. He's likely born with the powers, which even adds to that element of loneliness that Simon experiences throughout his life, because even as a kid, he didn't want to tell anyone because it could have impacted, maybe, I don't know if this is what he was thinking, but it could have impacted his ability to act. Because obviously, from the scene of him and his father when he was young watching Wonder Man, it's pretty obvious to see that his father instilled that love of acting, that passion in him. And so maybe he just didn't want to tell anybody when he was a kid, because he knew if people knew that he had powers, he wouldn't be able to work in Hollywood, especially after the Doorman incident. Which, I mean, they did the Doorman incident in black and white, the entire thing, so it kind of implies that it was like in the past, kind of way far back in the past. So yeah, maybe he was always anxious about that. He didn't want to tell anybody. And maybe there's another aspect too that I'm missing. But yeah, so I think he was probably born with his powers, and I think they probably just manifested in the fire. I think that's probably what happened. And I think he's a mutant, which would make him an Omega level mutant for sure. Or maybe an Alpha, an A. I don't know if that's because I'm pretty sure it is Omega, Alpha, and then the other one's Beta, probably was whatever. He's either the most powerful tier or the second most powerful tier. I'm thinking in the most powerful tier, though, in the MCU, especially considering his molecular manipulation, or at least what it looked like to be molecular manipulation. I think he's Omega. Now, where will we see Simon next? I hope we see him in the Avengers movies, in one of these upcoming Avengers movies. Leave him out of Doomsday. You can leave him out of Doomsday. That's cool. Yeah, you should probably leave him out of Doomsday. And, I mean, I don't know. I guess thinking about it now, it would be a little weird to see him in an Avengers movie already. Even if it's like Secret Wars or Secret Wars Part 2, if they split that movie into two. It would be a little weird to see him, but I'd love to see him. And I'd love to see him fight. And I actually think it's pretty interesting now that he, his superhero name isn't Wonder Man. He plays a character called Wonder Man. And, just like in real life, how we see Tom Holland and we call him Spider-Man, or little kids call him Spider-Man, people call him Spider-Man. We see Robert Downey Jr., we call him Iron Man. We see that guy, the GTA 5 actors, Michael Franklin and Trevor, they're actors. I don't know their actual names, but we call them by their character names because we connect with those characters so much. And I can see that being how he gets his name in the MCU, or how, why people call him Wonder Man in the MCU is because he plays Wonder Man. He is Wonder Man, the character, and he has superpowers. So he's definitely Wonder Man, which would be cool. That'd be pretty cool. I bet if he is in the Secret Wars or something like that, the first person to call him Wonder Man is gonna be Peter. He's gonna be like, "Oh wait, you're Wonder Man. Yeah, you played Wonder Man, aren't you Wonder Man?" Something like that. How much you want to bet? Anyways, yeah. So hopefully, maybe we'll see him in the Avengers movies. I hope to see him in the Avengers movies, and I hope we get a season 2, especially with how it ended, with Trevor and Simon breaking out of prison, and Simon flying Trevor out of prison. So dope. It was so dope. I was waiting for that moment the entire season. I remember when he was fighting in the alley and that kid saw him, and him and Trevor had to chase the kid. And you saw the scene in the trailer. Trevor's like, "Are you gonna use your super speed or something?" I was hoping you better use some super speed. You better go fly after that kid, man. Go fly, get that kid. And I never got it until we did. And man, when I saw him activate those abilities, and I saw him start to, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. So hopefully we get a season 2. If we don't see him in the Avengers movies, if we don't see a season 2, then he better be a main character in this next mutant saga. Mutant Saga Wonder Man is what I want. That's it. Make him a mutant. Make him a main character of the next saga. Boom. You win, Marvel. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Okay? Alright, guys. That's all on Wonder Man. Jesus fucking hell. I just spent an hour talking about Wonder Man. Holy fuck, man. Hey, shit.